Welcome to Push to Pass podcast with JP Murray, a discussion about business, racing, sports, and life. This podcast delivers insights on what makes businesses, teams, and people successful based on real-life business experiences. Following a career with America's largest associations, JP Murray founded the Murray Company, one of Washington, D.C.'s most successful consulting firms. The company was acquired successfully and enabled him to launch JP Murray Racing, a business development and sponsorship agency for auto racing teams. Here is JP.
It's JP Murray. Today, I'm going to talk about the hard-learned lessons from my first venture with a practical approach to pricing your business in 2026 and how to move from chasing margins to attracting the right folks. I'm going to cover a big pricing mistake that I made when I launched my first business, how I do it differently today, and a simple rule to apply as you go into 2026. And it's this one: add a zero. This was a problem that I've really also faced in the motorsports business, where it's strange. Sponsorship executives are hired often by a race team in a commission only based model. In this model, the sponsorship exec only gets paid when a check comes in, and you get a portion of that. And that's in a business, motorsports, where sponsorship sales is probably the most difficult business development effort I've ever been a part of. And I've been in the business development game in some way for almost 40 years. It's the most difficult, but it is the model where people accept no fee, commission only structure. So let's talk about my experiences. My first business mistake was pricing too low. I started my company, or started to think about it, with a side hustle project that I frankly charged a six-figure fee for. It justified the extra time that I was going to have to spend outside of my job to hire subcontractors to manage the project. It went great, and it was a proof of concept that this was worth the time and I might have a business here. I priced the program with several things to consider. Was it worth doing? Could I hire the people to help me? Could I put out a great product, and was there margin there? The project was so successful, I decided to launch this association consulting business full time, but I learned nothing from it, because what did I do? I took that high fee just one time, and I let the price point become the exception rather than the baseline. And I dropped the price to get more scale and get more projects. And that made me feel better about the business, because I think a lot of times we're worried about getting the work. What I learned was early pricing communicates value and scope. And if the initial engagement proves a viable model, guard the integrity of that price as you grow, rather than diluting to serve the masses and more clients. The other thing I learned is this: the middle and the bottom price point are bands where the budgeting battlegrounds happen, and you're negotiating not only on budget, but against other consultants that are willing to take a lower fee. If you're confident in the impact and what you can do in terms of repeatable delivery, preserve that premium tier. And that reflects your true return. And that's what your main offering should be. The premium tier sustains quality and margin over time and helps you build a better business. My core advice for you in 2026 is to charge more, not less, for the right clients. The higher fees enable better outcomes, stronger partnerships, and more selective client work. What I learned was I would never run out of clients and work to do. There were always enough projects. My problem was that I began to take the projects that weren't as profitable, and I had an attraction for this narrative. Oh, I have so many presentations and clients and blah, blah, blah. That sounded great on K Street, but the fact of the matter was I was overworking my team for less profit. My top line revenue grew, but my net didn't improve. My advice for you today is define that clear value proposition for premium engagements that you can do really, really good work. Create, as an alternative, an escape hatch for lower entry point services, but preserve your premium positioning. So if you've got that escape hatch or that lower entry point, make it for a much different offering. Don't do the same quality work. Now, I'm not sure I'm saying this the right way. Don't offer the same services for a lower price, but scale it down or give it to an associate or a less experienced person. Use that to offer your lower offering. My conclusion for you in 2026, as I said before, is to add a zero with discipline. When in doubt about price, push the number up. Push the number up. You're going to get pushed back. You're not going to get all the deals that you did before, but they're going to be more profitable. It's going to enable you to focus on the high caliber clients. Trust me on this. These clients are also going to become the repeat actors. If I look back on my business over time, the folks that I charged the most for the projects got the most satisfaction, got the most return, and keep coming back to you. The folks that did the low-end projects were frankly just fishing for someone to take care of a problem that they should have taken care of anyway. I hope this is helpful as you're launching or thinking about pricing. I can't wait to speak to you next week on the Push Pass podcast with JP Murray. So long, everybody.
Thank you for listening to the Push to Pass podcast with JP Murray, a discussion about business, racing, sports, and life. If you would like to sponsor Push to Pass, send an email to jp@jpmurray.com. Follow JP on Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook, and YouTube. His website is jpmurray.com. Until next time, push yourself to pass the competition. Thanks for listening.